who told me in 2030 Los Angeles will be private car driven free. And this will allow to transform.
BMW recently rolled out
Well, now
subscription
it will
plans.
only be offered through a monthly subscription. Tesla,
Own nothing and be happy. Whether it be your car, your music, your house, or even your rights, these people want to take everything from you. There has been a very deliberate effort to make the public en masse accept that we don't really need to own anything. We only need to stream, rent, or lease everything in our lives. And beyond that, rights aren't God-given, they're a privilege. And while this is all being done over the course of decades with the backing of billions and billions of dollars, it's forcing us to put ourselves completely at the mercy of corporations and governments who have a track record of being some of the most charitable organizations on earth. They really do want to take everything from you and accept that anything you have is a privilege. This is evil. And in light of this, I found a subtle, pragmatic, and affordable approach to prevent this from taking hold in your life. So the core of the idea is to pursue the most real or authentic version of something, even if it means sacrificing some convenience, whether it be in doing, buying, or investing in something. It sounds like a superficial statement, but allow me to give some examples. This will not only result in the genuine ownership of what you spend your money on, it will also allow for more true independence. And beyond that, through sacrificing the convenience that comes with some of these things, it actually allows me to more thoroughly enjoy them. Allow me to explain. Throughout this video, I'm only going to reference things that I've actually begun to implement within my life. Now, these aren't all 100% transformations or transitions. This is a gradual process that really I've just begun. So foremost, buy real things. Starting with music, I've begun to invest in records, specifically some of my favorite albums of all time. Now, this obviously allows me to own a copy of my favorite albums in perpetuity as long as the record lasts and assuming I take care of it. But beyond that, it also makes for great wall art and has resulted in me more thoroughly enjoying the albums that I love so much, as there's a process that goes into listening to them. You have to physically pick up the record, put it down on the record player, power it on, and drop the needle.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fool.
I found that this results in more active listening, something I've been striving to do with some of my favorite music for a long time. And beyond that, records double as great art and even a conversation piece. Now, moving on to books. Audiobooks are tempting and definitely extremely convenient, but I've started to transition into buying real physical books because it not only results in the genuine ownership of the book, allowing me to have something I can physically bring with me anywhere, not putting me at the whim of whatever corporation owns the audiobook that I'm listening to. But it also, again, forces me to deliberately sit down and pay full attention to the book that I'm reading, which has resulted in a more thorough understanding of the material. Now, specifically with audiobooks and music, I'm not planning on 100% transitioning to only listening to records and only reading physical books. I still have audiobooks and I still have a Spotify subscription. It's more of a gradual process, where if there is a more in-depth book that I need to pay close attention to, I definitely try to buy a physical version of it. And the same applies to records. I'm still going to use Spotify and I'm still going to listen to the occasional audiobook. It's just a symptom of the world we live in. The convenience is definitely not lost on me. Once again, it's just about making the gradual transition. And then watches. I used to have an Apple Watch, and yes, an Apple Watch is definitely a real physical item you can hold and you own, but with Apple's history of dropping support for older items, you don't necessarily own it in perpetuity. There will theoretically be a day whenever the device is completely bricked. I've transitioned to buying physical analog watches that certainly have way less features, but specifically the ones that I've bought are significantly cheaper and are quoted as having a lifespan of roughly 40 years. And beyond being more affordable and having a longer lifespan, I've also come to really enjoy the fact that they always work no matter what. Granted, you may have to adjust the date and time at certain points, but that's the only thing you have to worry about. You never have to worry about a software update or in general, the battery. Granted, there are some situations where you have to worry about a watch battery, but most are charged via the sun or just the movement of your wrists. So if you're consistently wearing them, you pretty much never have to worry about power.
Baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you back to school.
Now moving on to investments. I've begun to invest in real things, and you've probably heard a lot about gold and silver recently. I'm singing the same tune here. I've recently begun to slowly invest in more physical versions of these things. Prior to the recent months, I was just solely investing in the stock market and had a virtual savings account with no physical assets aside from the ones I physically use, like my car, for example. But beyond just gold and silver, I've begun to make a very deliberate effort to invest in real things, like starting a business or trying to get my hands on some real estate. And similar to buying things, it's not a complete transition. I'm still investing in virtual stocks and even cryptocurrency. I'm just slowly beginning to make the transition, as I don't want to put all my eggs into the basket of the people who have failed us over and over. And finally, doing real things. Now, this one's a little more conceptual, if you will. I'm trying to spend more time and orient my hobbies into doing real things. Like, for example, I recently deleted my beloved Clash of Clans account, and I've tried to put more time into going for walks, taking the dogs for a hike, or just going to the climbing gym, lifting weights, or going for a run. I'm trying to invest in the real world and what I like to do in my free time. Now, I don't think there's any shame in playing video games. It's the same as investing and buying real things. It's a matter of hedging. The world we live in really doesn't allow us to make a complete transition. Maybe it's possible, I don't know, but it's one that I'm more conscious of and I've started to shift towards. And once again, I found much of the same benefits in doing real things when it comes to my hobbies. I'm much less distracted and I'm much more engaged in what I'm trying to do when I'm not laying down on my device that has billions of dollars invested in R&D with the sole purpose of trying to keep you engaged on that virtual device. When you go to a gym or you go for a hike, you're completely engaged in that one activity. There's no distractions around you to take you away from what you are doing. And looking forward, I would really like to continue this transition and allow it to take over more of my life so that ultimately I can become more independent, self-sufficient, and really self-reliant at the core of things here, like growing my own food or even raising my own cattle. And again, I'm not swearing off of investing in the stock market, using Spotify, or listening to audiobooks. I'm still doing a lot of these things. I'm just trying to transition into not solely doing these things and putting more money and time into the physical, real version of these things, allowing me to truly own them. And if more people do this, it allows the public to have some leverage over these corporations and the government as a whole. I don't want the price of my rent to be at the mercy of a landlord, or the ability to enjoy my favorite songs or activities to be at the mercy of a foreign media company or a giant corporation that really at the end of the day only cares about money. And I especially don't want all of my investments to be at the mercy of a brokerage company that has a very sketchy past. And personally, it's a goal of mine to decouple from technology as much as possible in this modern world we live in. And I found this to be a pragmatic step in that direction. That is the pursuit of a more genuine, happy, and healthy lifestyle. I think it's critical that you actually own everything you're working so hard for. Don't let these people take everything from you. If you let them, they will.
I'm gonna give you my